Vanuatu Nightly News, brought to you by National Bank of Vanuatu, Vanuatu's own bank.
Internet headlines: key agricultural post left vacant as recruitment drags. PSC sets a flat 21-day leave entitlement for public servants. VMF Band showcases Vanuatu at PNG's 50th independence anniversary. A government and UNICEF expand mental health support nationwide. And ULMWP President Wenda declares West Papua ready to break away from Indonesia. Good evening and welcome to Vanuatu Nightly News. I'm Kizi Kalsekau. Leading our news tonight, island residents helped trigger 450-kilogram cocaine bust in Vanuatu. A tip-off from Gawa residents led to one of Vanuatu's biggest drug busts, with more than 450 kilograms of cocaine seized from the yacht Miamore. Acting on local reports of a suspicious vessel on 7th of August, police in Sola launched an investigation that later involved Customs, Immigration, the Maritime Wing, Biosecurity and the Australian Federal Police. Hidden compartments were discovered on board, and 3 crew members, 1 Chinese and 2 Turkish nationals, are now in custody. Minister of Internal Affairs Andrew Napwat says the bust demonstrates the effectiveness of joint operations under Vanuatu Police Force 100-day plan to strengthen maritime security. He noted that specialist support has been requested from the AFP given the scale of the case. This operation shows the strength of the law enforcement agencies in Vanuatu working together to combat transnational crime. The cocaine seizure is the second major case in Vanuatu's history after a similar discovery back in 2013. Napwat warns that criminal networks are increasingly targeting the Pacific as a transit route and urges communities to stay alert and report suspicious vessels. He says that border protection is not only the job of police and customs, but it's every citizen has a role to play. In government ministries, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Forestry and Biosecurity is struggling to fill senior positions with 3 of its departments, Livestock, Forestry and Biosecurity, currently led by acting directors. Director General Timothy Tumacon told the Standing Committee on Economic and Foreign Policy that the delay is tied to the ministry's transition to a new structure, which is awaiting approval from the Public Service Commission. Tumacon says that a permanent appointment for the Forestry Director cannot be made due to unresolved case involving the former director, while recruitment for a new Biosecurity Director is underway following the death of the previous office holder last year. He says that a Director for Livestock has only recently been appointed after the position remained vacant for more than 2 years. The committee expresses concern that these leadership gaps are affecting service delivery in critical sectors. The DG also defended the ministry's 17 million Vatu local travel bill, citing urgent monitoring of the coconut rhinoceros beetle outbreak and the hosting of an agriculture extension forum that required staff from across the provinces to gather in Port Vila. It stresses that decentralization demands significant travel to ensure services reach provincial areas. The committee has asked the ministry to submit its 2024 annual report for further deliberation. In other news, the Vanuatu Mobile Force VMF Band is representing the country at Papua New Guinea's Military Week in Port Moresby, part of celebrations marking PNG's 50 years of independence. The band will take part in a military tattoo, performing drills and cultural displays alongside regional counterparts. Police Commissioner Kalshem Bangran urges the band members to perform with pride, noting that their participation highlights Vanuatu's close ties with PNG. He also acknowledges the Australian government's support in enabling Vanuatu's involvement in the Golden Jubilee celebrations. In PSC, the Public Service Commission has announced a major amendment to the Public Service Act, introducing a uniform annual leave entitlement of 21 days for all public servants, with no carryover or unused leave into the following year. PSC Chairman Martin Mai says the reform replaces the seniority-based system and aims to enforce fairness, accountability and stronger management of public sector entitlements. It stresses that every officer from new recruits to senior officials will now be treated equally under the new arrangement. The PSC says poor leave management in ministries and departments has created heavy financial liabilities, with accumulated payments reaching millions of Vanuatu. The new system, if properly enforced, could save the government up to 112 million Vanuatu annually. To ensure smooth implementation, the Commission has tasked the Department of Labour with aligning the Public Service Act and the Employment Act and consulting with unions, HR officers and Director General before the changes are tabled in Parliament later this year. The government of Vanuatu, with support from UNICEF, is strengthening mental health and counselling services across the country, recognising the urgent need for emotional well-being support following last year's devastating earthquake. Working through the Ministries of Education, Health and Justice, Youth and Community Services, the initiative has already delivered training for teachers, counsellors and NGO workers to help children manage stress and trauma in safe environments. Programs such as UNICEF's I Support My Friends peer-to-peer approach are also being introduced to equip young people with the skills to support each other. Underwent in the region, United Liberation Movement for West Papua, ULMWP President Wenda has declared that West Papua is ready to separate from Indonesia, citing escalating unrest across the country. In a statement, Wenda describes Indonesia as a collapsing under mass protests over corruption, economic hardship and police brutality, and urges West Papuans to prepare for change. It says the turmoil shows that Jakarta has lost the trust of his own people and cannot claim legitimacy over West Papua, which he describes as an illegally occupied nation for more than 60 years. Wenda also calls on the Pacific Islands Forum and Melanesian Spearhead Group to provide assurances for West Papuans during this period of instability, stressing that the movement is prepared to lead the territory when Indonesia's rule ends. With that, conclude our Vanuatu 90 News. You can still follow VNN through Buzz SoundCloud, Buzz Facebook page, our website www.buzzfm.vu, Capital FM 107 and Radio New Zealand, Melanesian Update, RNZ Pacific. I'm Kizzy Kalsakau. A very good night.
And that was Vanuatu Nightly News, brought to you by National Bank of Vanuatu, Vanuatu's own bank.